So the presentation on how we leverage AI in the virtual human platform for safety assessment. So just to give you a short summary about our project, we have a national project, but we have a lot of international collaborations, also with, for example, Shell and Bayer, as you see in the graph, and a lot of stakeholders and partners involved. 33 organizations in total, and we are halfway in our project. And these is a summary of all the partners that are involved in our research project. And what is the vision of the virtual human for safety assessment? We focus on using human data for risk assessment to move away from animal testing. And we really specifically focus on human scenarios and using human biology as the basis to perform risk assessments. And our mission is to build a virtual human platform to improve the prediction of potential harmful effects of chemicals and pharmaceuticals for humans, and to accelerate the transition from animal-based testing to innovative safety assessment based on human data. So, to give you a visualization of the virtual human platform, in the center you would see all the data that needs to be integrated in our platform. On the right side of this picture, you would see the different case studies that we are exploring in our virtual human platform for safety assessment project, where we focus on disease state, kidney function failure after exposure to medicines, life course exposure, development of Parkinson's disease after exposure to pesticides, and sex and age differences in thyroid-mediated thyroid-mediated brain development also upon exposure to pesticides. And as the input, we use not only in vitro toxicology models or in silico models, but we also aim to use the physiological data, epidemiology studies, cohort data, and we also have clinicians in our project that provide clinical data. So the project approach is a very interdisciplinary approach where we have the building research line, where we have data scientists involved to build an ICT infrastructure, also in silico toxicologists and computational experts for computational toxicodynamic predictions. We have feeding of the platform by the toxicologists, either using in vitro toxicokinetic models, barrier models, and the case studies on kidney, neurodegeneration, and thyroid. And also in our project, we have an implementation research line where we involve social scientists to really help us with how do we build trust in the technologies that we propose for the transition in toxicology using NAM data and also using AI. So if you look at the case studies in more detail, we use the approach of really generating physiological maps and AOP networks for each of the case studies, where we try to model the key events with advanced in vitro models and integrate that with all the various data sources in silico tools and services. And this is an example of the AOP network that was developed in our project for neurodegeneration and Parkinson's disease. So this is a visualization of the VHP cloud platform that is being built. It's about building the ICT infrastructure, and in this case, we are also my lower line is not visible, but here we also try to leverage AI technologies to be able to really populate our platform. So this is how the platform currently looks like. You could visit the platform at cloud.vhp4safety.nl, where you see a list of all the services that are either collected from existing services or services that are being developed in the platform ourselves. And currently we are also in this research line 1 very much busy with creating a user interface for our cloud-based platform. So what about building trust in the models that we are going to use in our VHP4Safety project, and especially building trust in AI models. This is an example of the principle for use of AI that is published on the OECD website. What are two important aspects of AI to build trust by all users? Those are the transparency and the explainability of the models. And transparency then means the disclosure on the use, that you show that you use AI models, but also the understanding on how the AI system is being developed. And then the explainability, understand how the outcome of the method is arrived at. And at the RIVM, we had a workshop in 2023 where we invited all our modelers and risk assessors, either on ecotoxicology and human toxicology, where we really interacted with each other and tried to identify what are really the principles for trust for our modelers and our risk assessors in our institutes to be able to have confidence in use of these AI models. And it's very much related to these principles of transparency and explainability defined by the OECD. And this report, the workshop report, was also published recently. And few of the important aspects are the interpretability of the model that's being used and the guidance that is provided, and also the training. Very important is also the scope. And I have to mention here that the models we explored in our workshop were the artificial intelligence machine learning models, so the predictive toxicology models. So it's very important that the applicability domain of the model is also clear, that it's fit for purpose, and that it's very clear that it contributes to either screening or, for example, supporting risk assessment decisions. What was also mentioned was that the FAIR principles are very important. The models also should be accessible to everyone. They should be user-friendly, and there should be a basis, there should be an opportunity to have trial and error. So also for risk assessors to really engage with the models in order to build trust. And also very important was the multi-stakeholder engagement with these models. So in the VHP4Safety project, we also thought about how can we use also the output from this workshop at the RIVM in order to build trust in the models that we would propose that would leverage the VHP4Safety project. So how can we move towards exploring AI-driven approaches for chemical safety evaluation? And therefore, the team, the hackathon organization team, of which Ivo, who's also here, was one of the key initiators. It was the aim to focus on specific problem formulations and also to understand the emerging technologies and trends. So towards this hackathon, preparatory workshops were held on the topics that were explored in the problem formulations. And these were the large language models, also knowledge graphs, workflows, and templates. And this hackathon really stimulated cross-disciplinary collaboration between in vitro toxicologists, data scientists, and risk assessors. And they were really stimulated to collaboratively build the virtual human platform and assess the feasibility of AI integration in our workflow. And the hackathon design is based on a hackathon that was also proposed, hackathon principles proposed in healthcare innovation. And yeah, if you look at the slides later on, you could find a link to that publication by Ponset et al. So what are these hackathon formulations? And what was maybe not so surprising is that the hackathon problem formulations that we came up with are quite similar than the ones that were presented for the other projects also in the ASPIS cluster today. So I think as toxicologists, we all deal with the same problems for which we think AI can really help us. So the first one is to create basic knowledge graph for the VHP4Safety case studies, to develop LLM agents to automate the interaction with internal and external tools, really the services that we combine and integrate in our VHP4Safety cloud platform, create a framework to guide large language models in selecting the appropriate, and then with that we mean the relevant and reliable in vitro models for a specific purpose, design a comprehensive workflow for VHP4Safety case studies, and also develop a system using LLMs to assist in populating data templates. So that would also be really an opportunity for AI and that can potentially save a lot of work. And I will give an example of this latest problem formulation, what we did. So during the last hackathon that was held the last week of September this year, we developed a system where we used LLMs to assist in populating data templates, and maybe not surprisingly, also referring to the presentation of Barry, we used ToxTemp as an example because we ask all our PhD students that are developing NAMs to really describe their NAMs into ToxTemp. And for this example, I will take the VHP4Safety case study, life course exposure, pesticides, and Parkinson's disease. So an example on populating ToxTemp, maybe you all know, but just to repeat then, ToxTemp is used to aid in the reporting of non-guideline studies based on the OECD guidance 211 on non-guideline studies, and give in for good in vitro laboratory practice. And it really guides the users in the method description. So it guides users in providing the necessary level of detail and how is it relevant for VHP4Safety. It ensures the development of the description of the developed cell-based toxicology test methods and that they are properly documented. So it also kind of contributes really to a fair process, so to say. And eventually, it also contributes to building trust in these NAMs. So then AI helps building trust in NAMs as well. So the approach at the two-day hackathon was to engage in a trial and error process. And here you see a picture of the hackathon team that was actually working on ToxTemp. It was a multidisciplinary team with data scientists, data stewards, in vitro toxicologists, a risk assessor, and also a communication officer. And they together built and evaluated the activities that they were doing, building this application to populate ToxTemp in this two-day hackathon. And what they did, they used the retrieval augmented generation pipeline. Here you see some of the details. For example, tailoring prompts. They used chunking techniques and specific algorithms to enhance data retrieval. And also they really evaluated the quality of the responses. And that was also done by the in vitro toxicologist that provided the documents on the method description and the risk assessor. So in this ToxTemp effort, in ToxTemp itself, there are 11 sections and 77 questions, and only section 3 and section 4 were used in our effort in this two-day hackathon. So the hackathon results, the tool's methods are clearly described here. 6 documents were used as a basis. And of course, it's just a simple example, but it shows how we engage with these AI tools in our project. The preliminary results were that 15 out of the 16 responses were accurate. And of course, if we really want to use this also for the other case studies and maybe also for broader use of this ToxTemp app, we need to do a follow-up with further validation, also establishing an experimental design, really see how accurate our application is, and analyzing additional context documents. But this is just an example of kind of a rather simple problem formulation where AI can really help us. So what did we learn from this hackathon effort? How does it all fit together? What we learned was that we really had shared challenges, and not even within our project, but also outside our project. I think as a toxicology community, we have shared challenges in data integration and also artificial intelligence application. And these challenges are across all the problem formulations, the case studies we use, and also the regulatory questions we want to address in these case studies in our project, but also for other projects. The cross-team interdisciplinary collaboration can really lead to a more integrated, applicable, and also acceptable, and therefore more powerful solutions for chemical safety evaluation. And collaborative benefits are that insights from one problem can directly impact solutions to others. So we had 5 different problems that people tried to solve in one space. I think it was as big as this room. And people also walked from one table to another to learn some of the techniques and to help each other out. So that was really something that was really helpful. So how do we use this approach towards the impact creation in our VHP4Safety projects? And what I would also like to share with you, because I think it might also be of help for the toxicology community to be able to build trust in AI. It really aligns with the VHP4Safety goal of innovative animal-free safety assessment. When we started with this project, LLMs were not publicly available yet in 2021. And within 2 years, it was all over the place. So also in a research project, you really need to be flexible and adapt. And maybe also the toxicology community and risk assessment should be able to be flexible and adapt to these innovative technologies. And what we work towards is to build trust by all stakeholders in use of AI in risk assessment. So yeah, I would also open up the opportunity of all stakeholders involved, including the in vitro toxicologists and the risk assessors, etc., to be able to really learn and play and do some trial and errors with all these technologies, because I think that's really necessary currently in our field. So this is where I want to end my presentation, and many thanks to the VHP4Safety hackathon organization team and also IFO. So if you are going to applaud, it's also for IFO. And the VHP4Safety consortium, which I am part of. And then I would like to thank Jente Houweling, who is the data steward in our project that took the initiative to populate the templates we are using for VHP4Safety. And then the VHP4Safety coordination team, of which I am part together with Juliette Leckler, Cyrille Krul, and Esmeralda Krop. And the RVM team, led by Pim Wassenaar, who did this predictive toxicology effort where we explored trust in AI/ML methods. So, thank you.
Thank you.